I spent the last month analyzing 100 viral thumbnails to figure out what separates videos that get thousands of views from videos that get millions. And I found 6 psychological patterns that keep showing up again and again. Most creators have no ideas these patterns even exist. They're copying thumbnail styles without understanding the psychology behind why they work. Today, I'm breaking down all 6 principles so you can apply them to your next upload. These are psychological triggers that force viewers to stop scrolling and click. The goal of your thumbnail isn't to look pretty. The goal is to get the viewer to click. The problem is you're competing against thousands of other thumbnails at the exact same time. YouTube's homepage is a battlefield. Every thumbnail is screaming for your eyeballs. Most blend together because they're copying the same formats. The thumbnails that break through are those that grab attention and create the psychological itch that compels people to click. The creators who understand this are getting millions of views. Let's start with the first principle, curiosity. Curiosity thumbnails work because they create a knowledge gap that viewers feel compelled to close. One of my favorite examples is a thumbnail that simply showed a picture of a dog with text that said, "This is not a dog." Think about what's happening in your brain when you see that. You're looking at the dog, the text says it's not a dog, and your brain immediately goes to problem-solving mode. What do you mean? It's not a dog? I can clearly see it's a dog. The cognitive dissonance is curiosity at its peak, and that thumbnail hit 1.9 million views. Humans are hardwired to close knowledge gaps. When we encounter information, our brain obsesses over the gap to fix them. But for this to work, the thumbnail needs to create genuine curiosity. Ask yourself, does my thumbnail make viewers immediately ask, how is that possible? Or what am I missing? If the answer is no, then redo it. It's not enough. The next principle doesn't just make viewers curious, it makes them feel like they need to know what's happening next. Principle 2, extreme. Extreme thumbnails work because they show something so exaggerated that it breaks our expectation of what's normal. This could be extreme emotions, extreme situations, extreme transformation. Anything that makes a viewer go, "That's insane. There is no way that's real." It will work. They work because the gap between the two extremes is so large that we can't help but want to see the difference and what it actually looks like. But extreme isn't just about comparison. It's about pushing emotions or situations to their limit. The principle here is simple. Normal blends in, extreme stands out. The test for an extreme thumbnail is if someone saw your thumbnail and said, "This is pretty normal," you failed. The first 2 principles relied on psychological trigger, but this next one uses pure leverage. Principle 3, social hacking. This one is powerful because you're borrowing recognition from people or brands that viewers already know and trust. Look at the honey scam video that went viral with over 2 million views in less than a week. What did the thumbnail show? Faces of people who are famous. Mr. Beast, MKBHD, Mr. Who's the Boss, and other big YouTube personality. That's social hacking. When viewers see someone who they can instantly recognize, that will stop their scroll. There's immediate recognition and there's immediate attention. And it's not just faces. Brands work the same way. MKBHD puts the Apple logo in his thumbnails and every Apple fan just stops. Brands like Amazon, Nike, Tesla have spent billions of dollars trying to make their brands recognizable. The psychology here is simple. Humans trust other humans more than graphics or abstract faces. When we see a face we recognize, it creates an instant connection. And that connection lands you a click. The key is to make sure the person or brand you're social hacking actually is relevant to your audience. Don't just throw in random celebrities hoping that they will work. They should align to your audience's interests. The first 3 principles all create different types of curiosity. But what if there's a more direct approach? What if you just ask the questions outright? Principle 4, questions. The fourth principle is question. Question thumbnails work because they explicitly ask viewers something that demands an answer. When you see a question, your brain automatically starts trying to answer it. It's subconscious. You can't help it. And if you don't know the answer to it, that creates the same curiosity gap we talked about earlier. The best question thumbnails pair questions with visual elements that add context. For example, is it still worth buying in 2026? Pairing with the product that's old. Why does this work? Because anyone who's ever considered buying that product immediately wants to know the answer to that question. It's specific and it answers their question. Here's the key though. The question needs to be something your audience is already asking themselves. If you're making up a question nobody cares, it won't work. The test for a good question is, would your ideal audience genuinely want to know the answer to that? If yes, you've got a winner. Principle 5, negativity. And before you think this is clickbait, hear me out. Negativity works because human beings are psychologically wired to pay more attention to threats, problems, and downfalls than positive news. You're not manipulating the people. You're leveraging evolutionary psychology. Our ancestors who paid attention to danger survived. The ones who didn't became the lion's dinner. To use negativity in your thumbnail, think downfalls, failures, exposés, controversies, disasters, anything bad. Positive news is nice, but it's not really urgent. Negative news feels urgent. It feels like information I need to know right now. But remember, negativity only works if it's authentic. If you're just creating fake controversies, viewers will feel manipulated and they won't click. The right way to use negativity is to find real problems or real controversies. The sixth principle is different. It's about showing viewers you understand exactly what keeps them up at night. Principle 6, pain points. Pain point thumbnail work because they address a specific problem your audience is experiencing right now. Here's the psychology. When someone is dealing with a pain point, they're actively looking for a solution. If your thumbnail makes it crystal clear that you're solving that exact problem, clicking becomes a no-brainer. Example from productivity content. Many people struggle with staying focused while working from home. A pain point thumbnail could show a messy desk with distractions everywhere. The thumbnail speaks directly to the frustration your audience is having. Pain point thumbnails work especially well for how-to content, product reviews, and any video you're offering advice or solutions to, because your audience is already trying to solve that. To identify good pain points, think about the questions your audience is constantly asking, the objections they have, the frustrations they deal with, the problems they complain about in comments or forums. Once you identify them, your thumbnail should visualize that pain point in a way that's immediately recognizable. Show the problems visually. Use text that names the problem directly. When done right, pain point thumbnails create some of the highest CDR because you're speaking directly to people actively searching for the solution. Now you understand all the 6 psychological principles, but knowing the principles isn't enough. You need a system, the 3 pillars of a great thumbnail. This is the framework I use to quality check every single thumbnail before it goes live. Pillar 1, attention. Ask yourself, why would your ideal audience stop scrolling for this thumbnail? What specifically grabs their eyes? Is it large text, popping colors, a human face, social hacking, or just a famous person? If you can't point to a specific attention-grabbing element, your thumbnail will get scrolled past. Pillar 2, curiosity. Ask yourself, what's so great about your idea that your ideal audience would actually click? Did you convey it in the simplest and most interesting way possible? This is where the 6 psychological principles come in. If you don't have them, viewers will scroll past again. Pillar 3, legibility. Ask yourself, can someone understand this thumbnail from a distance? Yes or no? If the answer is no, simplify it. Remember, most people watch YouTube on their tiny phones. Your thumbnail is going to be shrank down. Before you publish anything, run it through these pillars. Does it grab attention? Does it create curiosity? Is it legible? If any of these 3 pillars is missing, fix it. right now. You've got the 6 principles, you've got the 3-pillar checklist, but how do you actually use this to create thumbnails for your videos? Let me show you how I would do it. This is my step-by-step playbook. Step 1, start with your hook. Before I even think about the thumbnail, I look at the video's core hook. What's the main idea? What's the thing that makes this video worth watching? That hook becomes the foundation for my thumbnail ideation. Step 2, break down the hook into possible thumbnail angles. Real example, say the video hook is about a female traveler spending 100 hours in Afghanistan. From that one hook, I can generate multiple thumbnail ideas. A POV shot of her, maybe men groping her, maybe a thumbnail that shows physical harassment. I need to visualize the feeling of being trapped. Step 3, evaluate which ideas are actually executable. This is where most people fail. They come up with cool ideas that are impossible to execute authentically. Ask yourself, can I actually get the assets to make this look real? Step 4, choose the best angles based on psychology. This is where I apply one of the 6 principles. Which idea creates the strongest curiosity? Which one uses social hacking most effectively? Which pain points does this address? For the Afghanistan example, I chose the angle of showing basic necessities being stripped away from her. Every moment feeling like you're in prison. That's a pain point. Step 5 is finding inspiration. Once I know the angle, I look for inspiration. In this case, it was the Nico Omalana video. The red banner just popped out a lot, so I copied it. Step 6, execute and test against the 3 pillars. Create the thumbnail, then run it through the attention, curiosity, and legibility checklist. If any pillar is just weak, iterate until all 3 are strong. This process might sound long, but once you get good at it, you can ideate and evaluate multiple thumbnail concepts in under 30 minutes. The key is being systematic. Don't just throw random ideas at the wall. Have a process and follow it every single time. Now, these 6 principles work. Apply these to your next video using the 3-pillar checklist and watch what happens to your CDR. And if you want thumbnails that convert viewers into subscribers and revenue, and you don't want to spend months testing and failing, book a free consultation call right now with me at thethumbnailtriumph.com or links in the description. Peace.